MMA Rants and Raves, KSW 14. Mariusz Pudzianowski versus Butterbean. Guys, let's talk about these two fighters. Let's start with Butterbean. Now, when you look at Butterbean, he looks kind of comical. He's this big, overweight guy when you watch him in the ring. But let me tell you something. There's nothing comical about his record. I mean, this guy has extensive combat experience in 3 major combat sports. I mean, these numbers, they really stand out at you guys. You're talking about 77-8 in boxing, 58 knockouts. Kickboxing, he's 3-4. He has an extensive mixed martial arts background too. I mean, he's fought many mixed martial arts fights. 65 total knockouts. I mean, this guy is a really dangerous fighter. I actually watched some of his fights, and it's interesting because he really has a boxing talent. Out of all the combat sports that he's been involved in, boxing is really his forte and where he's had most of his success. And it doesn't surprise me, because when you're over 300 pounds, no matter what those pounds are, and you're punching somebody with a jab or any other type of punch, let me tell you something, that's a lot of force and power coming at you. And I don't care who you are. In most cases, it may be lights out for you if you get hit with one of those bombs, and it has been for many fighters. So he really knows how to fight. He's very talented, and he should be taken seriously. Now let's talk about Mariusz Pudzianowski, 5-time World's Strongest Man champion. Let me tell you something, he is a cerebral athlete. You think on paper, oh, world's strongest man, all you have to do is have the biggest muscles, be the biggest guy, and you'll win. That's not the case. It's technique. I mean, you have to meet a timeline. You got to pick up these insanely heavy objects, run with them. You have a lot of pressure. You have a guy meeting a clock, and you got to beat that guy, so there's pressure. I mean, he is a true competitor. He competes, and he wants to be successful, and he's taking that competition. He's taking that desire to compete from the world's strongest man competitions into mixed martial arts, and he wants to be successful, and in many cases, you would think, and maybe he thought this, I don't know for sure, that hey, I'm the world's strongest man, and on paper, if you're the world's strongest man, you can beat anybody up. Well, he found out that's not the case. I mean, he had some success when he came in, and then in his last fight he found out that, something, it's great to be strong, but you also have to combine it with some skills. You got to learn things. And this guy obviously is a good learner. I mean, he's learned the things he's had to learn to be a 5-time world's strongest man. So he knows that he's going to have to learn technique in mixed martial arts. And he was interviewed before this upcoming fight, and he said, look, he's been working on his conditioning. So he admits that he has to work on things. And he also mentioned that Butterbean is a very skilled boxer. He's a very experienced boxer. And he said that he is going to look for takedowns. He's going to try to take this guy down. Now, as far as what I expect to see in this fight, even Pudzianowski mentioned, he has thick, strong legs. He's very heavy, so he's not going to be easy to take down right away. Now, we've seen that Mariusz Pudzianowski's kicks are very powerful. Even when he kicked Silva like buckled under. And in his first fight and his second fight, you saw how powerful this guy's kicks are. It's probably like getting hit with a baseball bat. I mean, he has huge legs. They're very muscular, quick, and powerful. I could see him throwing some of those, maybe trying to weaken Butterbean and get him off his feet, and that's the key here. He doesn't want to stand with Butterbean. If he does, he might be in trouble. Now, keep in mind, Pudzianowski, what I've learned from him in his past fights, he has a good chin. He got hit by Silva quite a few times. This guy Kamaguchi, the Japanese mixed martial artist, hit him quite a few times. And he was able to absorb them well and continue fighting. So if he gets hit by Butterbean, it might not be over. But he's going to try to weaken Bean and then take him down. Now, if he's able to take Bean down, the fight's over. I don't see Bean getting up. And the reason is because I actually watched one of his fights. It was against Pat Smith. Pat Smith, very skilled, very talented boxer. Bean couldn't time him. Smith was too quick, and eventually Smith got him to the ground. Bean has a good chin, by the way, so even if Pudzianowski can't hit him, I think Bean will absorb it well. I don't see Bean really getting knocked out in this fight, but anything can happen. Now, when Smith got him down, Bean couldn't get up, and that doesn't surprise me. He's a very heavy guy. He's not a well-conditioned athlete, and if Smith, who had Bean down, who was really assaulting him while he was on the ground, couldn't get him. Imagine a guy who was big as Pudzianowski, over 265 pounds, who was as strong as a grizzly bear. leaning on Bean and striking him from the top, I don't see how Bean can get up from that. I mean, certainly I don't see how he can get up from that. So here's the other thing, guys. You know, Bean is a really experienced fighter, but he's 44 years old. And in addition to him being 44 years old, he's also not a conditioned athlete. Now, these things may work against him. Pudzianowski has said that he has worked on his conditioning, and if he said that, then I believe it, because he's a world's strongest man competitor. If he knows he has to work on something, he has to work on something. So basically, the way I see this fight going, I see Pudzianowski eventually getting him to the ground, and then basically the fight may end on the ground. It may go to a decision because Bean is tough. He's got a good chin. Bean has a chance if he can keep it standing up and hit Pudzianowski really good. He may get a KO. But that's the way I see the fight going. I see Pudzianowski winning either by referee stoppage or unanimous decision. I'd like to know what you think about this upcoming fight. I would also like to know what you think about the future of Mariusz Pudzianowski as well as Bean. Please leave your comments below the video, rate this video and subscribe, and thank you for tuning in.